KD the one with another reaction video, and I shot him.
Was a good job, boy.
So we are
We fell
reacting
into the hype.
to.
We fell into the hype.
We are reacting. Yes, I seen everybody do it, but I feel like I feel like me and I shot him got our own answers to this, but this is the final answer. I feel like this is a done deal. One day ago, this is the only answer you need, the only video y'all need if y'all want to know the real question of 100 men versus one gorilla.
Most deaf. Y'all tap in.
And if y'all want to see more content like this, please check out I Shot Him and check out my videos. We're going to have us in the description. I'll make sure to have this due in the description. We're going to have a few videos coming out today. Y'all ready to see it? Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!
Every year, there seems to be a huge debate that takes the internet by storm, and the topic always varies. Chick-fil-A versus Raising Cane's, summer versus winter, cats versus dogs, and more. And the most famous debate, can my dad beat your dad? The current trending debate, however, is something unexpected but somewhat
Pancakes
grounded
versus
in the
waffles.
sense that is rooted.
Now, the only reason I know my dad can't be your dad because my dad's not there. How you gonna be a ghost?
Rooted in non-fiction, as beings of this debate actually exist in real life. Instead of a fictional debate between fictional characters, as the title suggests, this debate is 100 men versus one gorilla. And it totally has the internet divided. A ton of memes and videos have been made on this topic, with people either saying 100 men are walking away with the gorilla barbecue, or gorillas are going to throw a single punch and steamroll 5 people at one time. But nobody has actually gone in depth with this matchup, so today we're going to just do that. Going over the full potential of Homo sapiens versus the gentle giant of the jungle, the gorilla. Before we actually get into it though, let's lay out some terms so you understand how this will go. The humans will all be at their prime in terms of age, as obviously 105-year-olds versus one silverback gorilla will be a massacre, but to be as fair as possible.
What's the prime age? Like when I thought of this conversation,
Saying like 30 or something.
I thought of like random people, random ages, and like again, I was thinking of only men in this. And I'm sorry for people who thought like, yeah, I know there's strong women out there,
You know, like
but I
niggas
know,
say you get dad strength at a certain age.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
But
Like when you
people
get
be
to a
like, when
certain
you're a
age,
teen, you're at your prime.
I think 30
Yeah.
would be a decent age, but like probably near that like 35, 30 range, especially if you are a well built man, you will probably keep that strength for a little while.
We won't say every human present is at their physical prime, as a peak human is quite literally a superhuman, as it would refer to a hypothetical human that is the best at everything in a physical sense, whether it be running, fighting, swimming, or etc. Although he's a fictional character, Batman is considered to be a peak physical human in his verse, yet he has shown quasi-superhuman levels of strength and durability, somehow surviving a fall from space and walking it off as if nothing happened. So the humans will be at their prime age, which should be 25 to 30, but they'll still be of average strength.
All right.
They're not going
Alright,
to have
shit.
C-bomb levels of strength, and while it may seem like I'm nerfing humans, I disagree, as you'll find out in this video. No, the humans will not be taking turns fighting the gorilla like people have said, which misconstrues the debate. The point of
does.
100 men versus gorilla is to see if sheer numbers can surpass an animal, with absurd levels of strength. Simply put,
My bad,
it's
my bad.
essentially going to look like Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance, and the gorilla killing them all. I'm joking. The 100 humans and the
100v1.
silverback gorilla will be bloodlusted. This rules out the possible verdict of the fear factor kicking in for humans and causing them to flee if a few of the humans lose their lives. The silverback gorilla will also be bloodlusted because
All right, again, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking when it comes to this human shit, humans have fear. Now, let's say if we spawn 100 humans, one gorilla, in a room that could fit 101 people, they're going to destroy that gorilla. Like no holds barred. There's nowhere to run. They can't go. These are primal humans ready to fight, even if some of them aren't physically fit. 100 humans would
Jumping.
smoke that nigga.
because 9
You had to
times
put a
out of
couple
10,
gorillas in
a
there for it
silverback
to be
gorilla
fair.
isn't going to turn into a total smoke demon and leap into battle like Conquest from Invincible to fight 100 humans. Gorillas are mostly docile and rarely pick fights with humans unless they feel threatened and are being disturbed, or just generally in a bad mood. The win condition for the gorilla is to kill every human. Obviously, the win condition for the humans is to kill the gorilla. The battle will take place in a large grassy field. The location is a grassy field in order to be as fair as possible, as gorillas have actually shown the capacity to make tools to help forage. And obviously, humans can make tools out of sticks and stones, as we used to hunt large animals such.
Okay. Now, in my decision of 100 humans versus a gorilla, I know it's like the fifth fucking pause. Sorry for the app, but again, I'm interested in this. For my decision, I think they should be barehanded because I feel like 100 humans might be
I think they are.
OD.
That's why they picked the grassy field so they can't have.
Yeah, but let's say this: a gorilla and humans could go for foraging for sticks. They could forage for stones. I know not everybody has that mental like capacity to make like knives and spears, but all you need is one person to make that shit, and it's over. And here's the funny part: let's say the gorilla picks that bit up and smokes that Nick first. Do you think the humans like have a chance with a gorilla with a spear?
Gorilla with a weapon.
I ain't even
That's a
gonna.
whole different debate right there.
That's a whole different debate right there.
As woolly mammoths. There are also no time limits to this battle. It only ends when either side has died, and there will be no outside interference. The gorilla can't get help, and the 100 men can't call the police.
Like, you think it's gonna
Now
be like that?
we've discussed the terms and conditions, we can actually get into the debate to see who would win.
Not the
Let's
nose.
start off with scaling a silverback gorilla. The silverback gorilla, or known by its scientific name Gorilla berenge, is the largest primate alive today. They are usually found in sub-Saharan Africa and can
Imagine you
cover a
walk around
wide range
Africa
of
and you see one of them.
elevations. Silverback gorillas are absolutely powerhouses and are estimated to be anywhere from 4 to 9 times stronger than the average human. This is because gorillas have dense muscle fibers and a robust skeletal structure, with their skull being so thick that it could even stop bullets, though this heavily depends on the angle in
Did y'all?
being so thick that it could even stop bullets, though this heavily depends
y'all
on the
understand.
angle in which the bullet is fired from, the actual type of bullet, and the distance as well. In terms of pulling strength, gorillas are reported to have pulled over 1,800 pounds, but it's important to note that the strength of most gorillas are based off theory than actual tests with live gorillas, but it's still backed up by reputable science. With this strength, gorillas are capable of tearing humans limb from limb, as reported in an article dating back to 9.
Shout out to my old Mortal Kombat videos. Smoke was the best. And I'll stand on that shit every single time. I prove that shit to any of y'all niggas in the comments. Just drop y'all shit, and I would download Mortal Kombat so quick and make
He's
a
not
video
lying.
on y'all ass.
He's not lying.
1910, followed by the gorilla tearing off the man's head. A silverback gorilla is also known to have a bite force of 1,300 psi or pounds per square inch, which is only 200 points away from a jaguar, who has a bite force so exceptionally powerful it used to pierce the skull of prey.
Wait, I need
and
y'all to
dark
see that
force
again.
per square inch.
People be like forgetting that they can throw shit. They are strong. They can lift up to like a lot, but their bite, they could munch through a human leg like
They're
it's
animals.
nothing.
Of course, they got the bite, but that's what makes them scary. They use their hands. Not a lot of animals got that ability.
Yeah,
They can throw, grab,
these niggas,
strangle.
they're known for biting niggas in the head and like fucking destroying their brain. A gorilla has that level of strength.
Exceptionally powerful, it used to pierce the skull of prey and darkly bite through the brain, killing it instantly. Their bite force is so powerful due to their massive jaw muscles and skull structure, which is specifically designed to crush and chew tough vegetation, bark, and stems. Though obviously, this bite force can have devastating effects if used in a fight against rival gorillas or humans. The strength of a silverback gorilla is not to be underestimated, as they have the capacity to bend the iron bars of cages to escape or uproot banana trees with their bare hands.
Yeah.
The reason as to why silverback gorillas are so powerful is due to having a high
Snap
portion
and
of
boost
fast
up.
twitch
It's
muscle
crazy.
fibers, which is the cause for their explosive strength, and obviously having more dense muscles than humans. Gorillas are also far more
A lot of
active than
humans on
humans, spending a majority of the day climbing, walking, pulling branches, and obviously fighting so they can maintain strength without structured workouts. The key thing to note here is that gorillas aren't built for long periods of exerting their strength, but whenever they go on a rampage or a battle, it doesn't usually last too long. Their arms and muscles are more built for lifting, climbing, and pulling, all of which are crucial to their survival. They're able to continuously perform these tasks thanks to low body fat and more efficient muscle usage, storing energy
and they
for
got low
functional
body
strength rather than endurance. Despite the fact that gorillas are giants, they're actually somewhat fast, and in short bursts, their max speed has been calculated to be 25 kilometers per hour, so good luck outrunning this thing if it's charging at you. Another thing to note about gorillas is that they aren't as intelligent as people perceive them to be. While they are creative when it comes to creating tools to forage, in terms of battle IQ, they are inferior to humans. They don't use complex strategies when it comes to fighting, and mainly just rely on overwhelming their opponent with superior strength, grappling, and biting, which is usually a decisive way to win the battle when you're bigger than 99% of other creatures in your habitat. For that reason, they don't punch with precision and aim like boxers, which is what a lot of people seem to believe. This isn't to say that a gorilla isn't just physically incapable of punching, as they are quite
on
capable,
haymakers
but it's
though.
not nearly as
You
powerful
don't
as it
get
would
caught.
be if a gorilla knew how to use the proper technique. However, when gorillas do punch, it obviously hurts like hell, as a single blow from a silverback gorilla exceeds 1,000 pounds of force. In 2015, a silverback that was drunk off eating bamboo stems, which ferments in their stomach and causes them to be intoxicated, threw a
And they
punch
can
at
get
a
drunk off this
Rwandan
shit.
cameraman that got too close.
Do you think a partially drunk gorilla with a weapon could beat 100 humans? I want to find a question that seems more suitable for this because, like in my mind, I think the best is how many humans do you think takes to beat a lion, like barehanded humans?
Courtier recalls that upon contact, he felt all the power and weight of the gorilla on his body, and although he wasn't seriously injured, was left with a scar on his forehead. Courtier described the punch as being akin to being hit by a train, so take that as you will.
You ain't never been hit by
Overall, a
train.
gorilla would scale from anywhere to street level or wall level, but the wall in question is very iffy. If a gorilla
They
needed
get
to
hit by
break
trains
through a
be worse than
thin
most.
wall or some type of glass, it could smash through with little to no difficulty. But if we're talking about a wall made with strong materials such as concrete, it's going to be much more difficult and depends on how motivated the gorilla is to escape or gain food. So wall level would honestly be a high ball, but honestly it doesn't matter since I've already discussed how incredibly strong gorillas are. With that out of the way, let's talk about how strong a human is, followed by how the matchup would go. Humans or Homo sapiens are the most dominant species on the planet, and for good reason. There are 8 billion of them on the planet, all of which have unique traits and features about them, but how strong is the average human exactly? In terms of lifting strength, the average human could bench press less than 135 pounds or 66 kg, deadlift less than 185 pounds, and overall lift an object ranging from 40 to 50 pounds. It's clear that the average human is nowhere near as powerful as a silverback gorilla, as they are at least 4 to 9 times weaker. However, this is one on one. To physically overpower a gorilla, you would need anywhere from 40 to 50 average humans to do so. 5 could maybe slow the speed in which a gorilla's arm is flung about, but risk getting thrown or crushed. 20 to 30 could likely restrain and grapple a gorilla's limbs, but when you put 40 to 50 humans in the equation, the gorilla will be restricted after a chaotic struggle. In terms of speed, the average human can reach a top speed of 15 to 18 kilometers per hour, which is still inferior to a silverback speed. However, in terms of stamina, the average human would be superior to a silverback gorilla. This is because a silverback gorilla isn't built for endurance, but more so explosive power with devastating effects. Humans also have superior energy efficiency for prolonged exertion, being able to sweat to regulate temperature during long activities in order to avoid overheating, because a silverback gorilla has a much more denser muscle than a human. They rely more on anaerobic, non-oxygen energy, which depletes faster and leads to quicker fatigue. Even the most average human is capable of running a good distance, with better than average humans being capable of running marathons at 26 miles, whereas gorillas can sprint for only a few hundred meters at their maximum speed before needing to rest. They are not designed for long distance endurance, but humans are. Durability is a no-brainer. A silverback gorilla's body is far more suited for immense strength and impact resistance than a human, whereas a human can fracture bones or even tear muscles under pressure. And if that same pressure were to be applied to a gorilla, they would quite literally blink. Gorillas also have a higher pain tolerance than humans due to just being more biologically built to endure physical strength, capable of walking off bites from other gorillas and animals. There are, however, two advantages that humans have other than gorillas aside from endurance, that is, intelligence and hysterical strength. Intelligence is a no brainer, as even the most average human is capable of strategy and planning, especially if you were to pick a select few humans from a group of 100, as logically some will be smarter than the others unless we just give every human the same IQ. But even then, a person of average IQ isn't dumb. Well, if you were to ask them how 100 humans could defeat a gorilla, they could come up with a few ways which could be expanded upon by others around them. Humans also have something called battle IQ, which is basically how intelligent you are in a fight, such as specifically aiming for an opponent's weak point, doing things to conserve your energy, or striking a specific way to avoid injury. The average human will be far more strategic than a gorilla, whose main strategy consists of quite literally crashing out with explosive power, which in all honesty is a dumb move, as all that flailing around of arms coupled with ground and pound will lead to quick energy loss, and in turn the gorilla will lose energy pretty quickly. Humans are also known to do something called persistent
So
stunting, which is, as it suggests, consists
humans have not only the battle IQ, they have strength in numbers. That's why I said I think the hunt is low key kind of OD. But like the gorilla can do only so much compared to the average human.
of tiring out your prey until they collapse before finishing it off. Moving on to hysterical strength, there are cases of humans who gain a temporary burst of incredible physical strength during extreme situations of fear, stress, or emergency. This phenomena typically occurs during moments of extreme emotional distress, such as when a person is in danger, witnessing a loved one in danger, or experiencing an overwhelming rush of adrenaline, or epinephrine, which is released in large amounts during these crucial moments. Adrenaline boosts heart rate, blood flow to muscles, and mental focus, which provides a short-term burst of energy and physical strength, which is extremely advantageous to a human. This causes humans to quite literally surpass their physical limitations, such as deadlift a car off a trapped person, or a cop lifting a 3,500-pound SUV off a woman to unpin her from a trapped car. However, the after effects of hysterical strength are often brutal, as it often leads to multiple broken bones, extreme muscle fatigue, or being physically incapacitated for some time. So overall, humans scale to street level with intelligence varying from average to genius, though this scale can increase if hysterical strength.
I wonder, have y'all ever had a hysterical strength like moment? A moment where you just randomly be just like 10 times stronger than you normally are?
Yeah, sometimes.
Like, imagine being able to harness that almost any time you want. That shit would
Yeah,
be
that's like that true
different.
strength.
That would be different.
Comes into play. So who wins, 100 men or a silverback gorilla? Well, this may come as a surprise to some or a no-brainer to others, but 100 men would win with high difficulty. And before the gorillas start commenting and hate that I chose the humans because I'm biased or something, to explain, the key to winning this battle is overwhelming the gorilla and tiring it out. If the humans are coordinated enough and focus on just solely overpowering the gorilla, they can force a W. However, at least 70% of men are going to die, with others
Damn.
walking off with serious injuries. The first wave of humans are getting slaughtered, but they would have done enough to tire out the gorilla, and from the
This nigga says 70%, then proceeds to say the first wave. That's the
Yeah,
first, second, third, fifth. Like the
first
fuck you
wave is
mean?
getting cooked,
Like
but they
a
did
good
enough.
amount is getting cooked. But then they gonna fold that nigga.
Then he'll be tired.
the second and definitely the third wave are going to exhaust the gorilla completely. When it comes to killing the gorilla with your bare hands, it would be tricky, but it's not impossible. Aiming for weak points like the eyes, throat, and airways are vital. With multiple people dogpiling the gorilla, this could lead to the gorilla suffocating and gradually growing weaker until
Like
it
stomp on
dies
his
of
neck or something.
asphyxiation, which is basically the term for a condition where the body is deprived of oxygen, leading to potentially life-threatening situations, so on, so on. Crushing the trachea via elbow drops, forearm pressure, or even
Elbow
biting is
drops.
another way, but again, a lot of
Imagine
humans would need to
30
overpower the
people
gorilla
hitting
to make
elbow
it
drops.
possible, or have it be already tired
20
I
hit
out.
the
believe it.
Forcing
the
fingers through the
Robin double
nostrils would
knee.
also be enough to suffocate it. You could also force
See,
The
that's
other
all you
one
had to do. Climb a
hitting
tree,
the smooth Mike Tyson.
hit the double knee straight in the back, and that nigga's not getting up. You're not getting up either, but he's not getting up.
the gorilla face down and aim for its spine and skull, but this would be tricky as the skull of a gorilla is extremely thick and would take a lot of pressure to cause severe brain trauma. The only way a gorilla would win if we change the conditions and make this matchup realistic instead of having both sides bloodlusted and out to kill each other. Realistically speaking, 5 or 10 men would charge forward and suffer brutal deaths, which would terrify the other men, would charge forward and suffer brutal deaths, which would terrify the other men and either cause them to become less uncoordinated and panicky or cause them to just retreat. Another way for the gorilla to win would be having the battle take place in the jungle, a terrain that the gorilla is familiar with, using it to its advantage, attacking and escaping and repeating this, or just straight up dropping down from trees. Of course, if you give all 100 men weapons such as knives or sharpened sticks, this would increase their chances of winning, but still a good portion of men are dying. Overall, 100 men would prevail in a battle against a single gorilla, but it's not as easy as you think. Humans are capable of taking down animals far bigger than themselves, especially Homo sapiens from ancient times, who were capable of taking down woolly mammoths with sticks and stones, and are responsible for a vast majority of mammals who are many times larger than ourselves going extinct. However, the amount of bravery and mental fortitude you would need to willingly face off against something that can tear your head off from your own body is at another level, and most people aren't willing to do that. Overall,
Real question. Real question. Real question. If you think that you personally can be in that 100-man group, let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe if y'all want to
Yeah, I
see more
think that
videos
100
like
men
this.
can beat a lion. Yeah,
No,
comment.
100 men versus a lion. I
Check
still
out the
feel
next
like
video.
it's. I
We fuck
still
with
feel
y'all.
like it's OD. I'm not gonna hold you.
Y'all stay smooth.
Y'all stay smooth though.